Hello everyone, and welcome back to a new episode here with the Orange Foxes in FM23, where it's also gonna be the first pre-season special here in, 23, I suppose. So there are gonna be a lot of transfers, both in and outs in this pre-season episode. Also, some changes to the tactic, But yeah, I think we should start with some changes to the overall club, and that's why we are on the what is it actually called, this view? Club info view, and also a couple of other bits and pieces, because I feel like we need to go over some things sometimes and not only see matches, right? So if you don't like this kind of episode where we are talking transfers, looking at players, looking at the new tactic, and the other bits and pieces, right? Then jump over it, right? It's definitely worth. I believe it's worth my time doing it because I like these sort of things. I like the preseason. I absolutely love it, 100%. So as you can see, we will get to that later. The situation, we will get to that. First things first. What happened with the club right after after the last episode is that the board decided to go semi-professional. I talked about it in the previous episode, and this is not my choice. This is the board, and as I mentioned, it's probably not the best for us, right? It can become troublesome in terms of finances. But, it is what it is. Our current finances that I guess sort of neglected to show throughout the entire of the last season is right here, right? It's, now we do have a wage budget because, we are semi-professional. As you can see, we are already using some of it, so... it's gonna be troublesome. I know it is. It's gonna be a problem, this. So we actually gained 38k after last season. That's how much we got out of playing in that league in the 3rd division. And hopefully there's gonna be a little bit more in the 2nd division. I haven't actually checked just yet. But even if not, I can't really do anything about it because the board decided to go semi-professional. So I have to pay players now. If I wanted new players, even if I wanted to keep my current players, they are demanding wages. So yeah, there we go. Another thing that I haven't spoken about at all is the supporter section, as you can see right here. I believe we have 1% fewer hardcore and 1% more family. That's the change for this season. 1% more family instead of hardcore. Well, honestly, this new feature, to me, it's almost as exciting as looking at painting dry. Sorry, but this is terrible. It's just, it's nonsense. To me, this seems like a worse version of the board, or in best case scenario, it is the same system as the board is, as you can see here with the supporter culture expectations. The problem I have with it for now is that it is basically not dynamic. I mean, yes, it changes from 1% hardcore to 1% family, but what does that mean? Nothing. It's basically just a number that change. So this is only important if you are really, really heavily focused on storytelling and role-playing, right? Otherwise, this is not important as a mechanic in the game. But of course, I would want to show you guys and tell my thoughts about it, right? I think it's nonsense. I think it's one of the most ridiculous things they put in. If it's not dynamic, who cares? I mean, yes, someone that likes role-playing a lot more than I do. I'm more mechanically in the way I'm playing FM or any game, to be honest. And this is just pointless to me. We were, of course, offered a new contract. Well, I'm saying it like that was, of course gonna happen. Well, it would only happen if we actually did well that season. Now, here's the thing. We got a new contract, right? A 1-year deal, paying nothing. we won't get anything out of it in terms of wages. But it's still an upgrade because last season we were actually on a contract from month to month. I don't know what happened there to my... Something happened with Windows. Not sure what it was. But anyway, yeah, it's an upgrade because, like I said, last season we were on month-to-month basis. So sure, I'll take a contract for a year. I mean, it's a silly little thing, but and to be honest, I'll probably not show it again, even if we do get wages, because it's not important. We know that we're gonna stay at this club forever and ever, and if we're not, well, end of game, I guess. So, yeah. We still have the same staff members. I decided to not upgrade on them. I could have done that. I could get rid of some of these and get some better ones in. But seeing how good we actually look in terms of the average in the division, I feel like we should probably let it go and just let them stay in there. Why? Because we do not pay them anything right now. None of these are paid anything. And if we start changing that, the other guys, the other staff members we would try to get in would demand wages. And right now, I feel like we should probably put all of our wage budget into players instead. In terms of the board that I, well, didn't really show much of before when we were in here, they have actually decided to expand the stadium. I think they need to do that just because of the league demands. So in 5 months' time, we will have, I think, 100 or so bigger stadium in terms of, and it's not seated. You know, it's standing areas. It's not seated. We don't really have a big stadium at all. Actually, can we see that somewhere? No, we can't really here. But I'll take a look at that after this. But anyway, it's, I mean, their prediction of this upcoming season is that we're gonna go down. So, and they still want us to play some counter-attacking football, make the most of set pieces, play direct football as well as counter-attacking for reasons, and play attacking football as well. But it seems like the most important is actually the direct and make the most of set pieces. Interesting. Now, we will see what direction I went in with our tactics. So, yeah, we will see about that. But let's get into the mode in here again and check out our facilities and check out our stadium, which is now 500 standing capacity expansion. Wait, what is the... Oh, total is actually 1,000. Oh, currently reduced by 168. I'm not sure why that is, but we actually do have 1,000 capacity stadium. But here's the thing, I know this stadium, and I know, if you, as you can see over here, there is basically... That is not 1,000. Yeah, I mean, you could probably put thousands on it, but yeah, there is nothing really seated. I think there is a couple of seats, but it's not really, it's not like, it's very low league kind of stadium. Expansion capacity 5,000, really? Yeah, probably, that's not unrealistic, I suppose. But yeah, a 500 expansion, so there we go. I mean, that's fairly good. But here's the other thing. We actually do have some fairly decent average youth recruitment, average academy coaching. We have basic youth facility and basic training facilities. I do not want to upgrade those just yet. We are probably more focused on getting... We're kind of moneyballing it a little bit. I mean, I'm not using too many statistics to find the players. But I'll rather moneyball than try and find talent within our own system and get them through the system. Now that is not really true, because I do go for youngsters often, very often, but I also will tend to go for just better players instead of using our facilities to develop players. In this save, that might be a different save where I'm doing it differently, but for this save, for this club, we are probably not going to upgrade too heavily and use a lot of money on that. Another thing that I have kind of neglected is the affiliate clubs. We do not have any. And you know what? I think I want to look for a senior affiliate. If we could get the affiliate from either the first division or Superliga, that would be fantastic. Let's see if they want to get us into a situation with our affiliate here, the board. Yeah, we should look for a suitable club that will ensure us to sign good players on loan. That is basically, actually, maybe the income. Maybe we should go income way instead, because we do need the income. So let's try and say that. We wouldn't make much difference. Okay, well, that might be true. I don't know if the Danish clubs further up would actually give us any money, but we will try to convince him, I suppose. I hate these interactions. I hate them. The finance benefits from this will really help the club grow. Let's try that. Alright, there we go. It went through, so hopefully we'll find an affiliate later on in the next episode or something. It will take a month or two before it's actually getting done. I kind of forgot about that we didn't have any affiliates, so yeah, my bad, I suppose. But there we go. Leave the meeting. Good. Job done. Right, enough of all that club nonsense. Let's talk about who left and who went, or who came in, so to speak, in the transfers. I want to start with who left us. Why? I do not know. I just want to start with that. I'm not going to show every single person that left us because it's actually not that many, but I don't need to show everyone. I want to show you those guys that we have, that was really important to us last season. Katovic, he's gone. He went on a free. I mean, he didn't want a new contract, and there we go. He's gone. Yeah, and I guess he did the right thing because he's on 3,600 wages. That's almost more than our entire budget anyway. So, well, there we go. He's gone. Yeah, I think this one was avoidable. I mean, with such a great season that he had, he didn't even want to go into contract negotiations, and I'm a little bit pissed because he went to Næstved, which is kind of in the same kind of. I mean, they are in the Nordic Bet Liga. But he went there without getting any wages. I would have, if I could get him into a contract negotiation situation, I would easily have paid 200 to 300 wages for him. Now he's playing somewhere else for absolutely nothing, and yeah, that's a bit sad. And I believe this guy Nørstrand was probably my first signing, wasn't he? I think is this the guy we signed the first? I think he might be the first signing we did. Again, he didn't want to go into negotiations with us, and gone he is. 250 wages with who? Roskilde. Fair enough. I mean, I can't really make them stay. He actually just about now, I think it was just a couple of days ago in the game that he actually left us, so very late in the transfer window. Is it a problem? Yeah, probably not actually. I think we are covered. And now to, I would say, the fun part, which is who came in. The first guy is one of those 5 or 6 guys that I brought in as a reject from another big club. So that means, well, they are young, and it also means that they are not paid anything because this happened before we turned semi-professional. So, yeah, I mean, he might not be the best player in the world, but he is probably my, right now, 4th choice centre-back. So he will do something for us this season, but hopefully not too much because, like I said, 4th choice. Another of those rejects is this guy Oscar Seirup. He is currently our 3rd choice winger and 3rd choice striker. Again, not the best player in the world, but if you look at some of the numbers he has, you know that down in the lower leagues, they can be potentially very hurtful to the opponents. Finishing 14, composure 11, that alone, that is goals right there. First touch of 15. Ouch. Well, he's not going to lose the ball right away, apparently, and he's also fairly quick. Now, is he a really, really good player? No, he's not, and that's why he's 3rd choice in both of those spots that he can play. And we keep going with these rejects, and to be honest, they can also develop quite a bit. They are only 18, most of them, so you never know how good they may become and how high their potential is, right? You don't know. These star abilities, that's just an estimate by your assistant manager or whoever is making those reports. And yeah, they could be better than what you think they are. So taking in those rejects, if you're a lower league manager, or yeah, managing in the lower leagues in whatever league it is, yeah, it might be worth it. And in this case, this guy Brun Madsen, he is sort of right now 2nd to 3rd choice halfback. Yeah, the assistant manager, actually, that's not the assistant manager, it's one of the coaches. Don't think he's good enough for that role. I do not agree. I do not agree. I think he is good enough for that role. And I do also think that he could go up and play a Marcila or a Carrilero as a 4th or 5th choice, right? So yeah, again, it's someone that could develop quite a lot. He's very quick, and we'll see how it goes for him. Jakob Forsingsdal is, again, one of those guys for free, no wages, 19-year-old, this time 19, but still young. He is a fullback, and he's currently sitting in our second team. Why? Well, because he is more a fullback than he is a wingback, and currently we are using a wingback in the new tactic. So I don't think he is. I mean, he's right on that edge. He's like that player that could potentially break into the first team if we really need another wingback. But for now, he's in the second team. Berknat Bayrak. I'm not sure if that's pronounced correctly, but a Turkish player, also one of the rejects, not paying anything for him. I actually thought that he would maybe become our 2nd or 3rd goalkeeper, as it turns out. no. No. He's gonna play in the under-19s this season. So, yeah, I mean, he could be moved up to the second team, but for now he's in the under-19, so not good enough compared to what else we have. Nikolai Kro. This guy is probably one of those rejects that you're gonna see the most of this season, I would expect. He is, he can, also because he can play so many places, as you can see. I don't know exactly what he is. Well, he's kind of Masila, so probably third choice Masila. He got some decent dribbling, decent first touch, pretty good passing. The only thing is actually the off the ball here is absolutely horrendous. And he's also sort of a winger. He's attacking midfielder. He's also an inverted winger or inside forward. He can do. He will slot into many of the new places we're gonna play, which you now can probably guess some of them. But yeah, we are not there yet. We are still looking at transfers, right? But yeah, as I'm saying, I think he is probably gonna be someone that is sitting on the bench quite a lot this season. Victor Ingard, I believe his name is. I do not believe he was one of the rejects. This is the first one that was not one of those rejects. But I did get him in. I did get this guy in just before we turned, or maybe just after we turned semi-professional. Now, he is our second to third choice wingback on the left-hand side, as you can see here. 20 years old, pretty decent. The only weak holes in his system, as you can see, he's very well-rounded, around 10 average numbers, is his decision-making and probably the stamina. That means that he can play every single game, that's for sure. But yeah, I feel like he's a pretty solid backup to have, and I do rate him higher than to current ability. I do rate him higher than that. I would probably call this guy, compared to the rest of our squad, 2.5 to 3, in between that. In current ability, just because he got so many average numbers that are in the 10th. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this signing, actually, especially when we are getting him for free. The first player that we are gonna pay any money to in terms of wages, I didn't buy him, he was free, but in terms of wages, is this guy. Devrim Sahin. I believe he is Turkish, right? But Danish national, or at least any of the players I get is homegrown, all of them. Even if you see another nationality, they are still homegrown, at least to any of the Nordic countries, that is. Anyway, this guy is the first player we are giving any money, and he is quite good. I'm very happy with this signing, to be honest. He's gonna play as a Masila for the most part, I think. He can also play, I mean, he's very versatile. He can basically play anything in the midfield, to be honest. And he can also go down and play a defensive midfielder of sorts. Maybe probably deep line playmaker if he went down there. But yeah, he's just very versatile. No matter what kind of central midfielder role we wanted to go for throughout the season, he can definitely slot in. Itvin Svaling, I think it is pronounced. He is actually our first real national player, because all the other ones we have gotten so far is actually Danish nationals. He is a Swedish national. He is homegrown to Sweden, of course, but yeah, he is actually the first non-Danish player we have. 160 wages, and he is our first choice halfback. 100%. He is the first choice. Yeah, I am very, very happy with this signing. I think he already now is shown in the friendlies that he is very much worth his wages. So I couldn't be happy about this signing. I think he is going to be one of the most important players in the squad this season. Magnus Clemensen, another international player. Oh yeah, I'm on a roll now. Now this guy is actually very special because he also got 5 caps. Yeah, and he's also a homegrown Danish player. I mean, what? He's actually playing for the Luxembourg team, and he got 5 caps, and he's also a homegrown Danish player. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. He is 28, paying 200 wages, and he is our at least second best, if not the best midfielder we have. He is likely going to be playing as a carrilero, but he can also play as the Masila, central midfielder, box-to-box, whatever. Again, he's kind of that natural midfielder you want in your team that is, yeah, pretty damn good. And he can also go down and play defensive midfielder if we need him to. So again, he's very similar to the other new midfielder we got in from the Turkish guy, or Turkish half international Turkish player, whatever he was. So yeah, again, very happy with this signing. So let's move on. Samuel Andersen. I'm actually not sure if that is how you would also pronounce it in Swedish, but or with the Swedish accent, but I'm gonna call him Samuel Andersson. He is, well, Swedish, but he is also a homegrown Danish player. Funny enough, yes, he was educated in football in Denmark. Would you have it? No, he's not even a Swedish homegrown. Nope, he is actually Danish homegrown. He is by far our first choice goalkeeper this season. This is probably one of the best signings you will see in this save. £90 for this quality is insane. This guy could probably play in a pretty good squad in the first division. The league above us, right? He could probably play up there and get thousands in wages, or at least 500 or something like that. This guy is a steal. He's an absolute steal. He is very, very good. I'm very happy with having him in our squad, for sure. He's gonna be excellent. Another Andersson, but in this time around he is actually Danish, and he is playing in the opposite side of the field, which is as a target forward. Yeah, a new target forward, and there is reasons for getting a new target forward, as we saw earlier, because Fester is gone. He is, of course, the replacement to Fester, and hopefully he will become as good as Fester was, but honestly, so far he has, well, I actually signed him as an injury. I signed him when he was injured, sorry. So he hasn't really played at all in the friendlies, so he is not really that fit. Hopefully he will become fit, because he's gonna become very important if we're gonna have a good season. That's for sure, 100%. 23 years old, 275 wages, the most expensive. But I mean, I wanted a target forward, and this is the best I could get without it me costing thousands in wages. It is actually a good signing. I think. Well, I don't know yet, of course, but I think for the what the attributes are suggesting, I think it might be worth it in the long haul here. I think he will bring in the goals for us. Last but not least, Daniel Skogård Mortensen, a new central defender. And he is very likely gonna become... He can actually also play as a fullback or wingback, but I am likely gonna play him as a ball-playing defender. He is definitely good enough to do that, and he also have another weapon in his arsenal, other than the ball-playing part, and that is he got 15 in long throws that I will probably take advantage of. At least try to take advantage of. I want to see what it does here in FM23. I haven't played around with it yet, so we will see how that actually does. I haven't seen any good things yet, but we'll see how it goes with the long throws, which we will talk about in just a moment's time with the tactics. So, that is all the ins and out for now, as you can see them right here on the list. There might be more to come, but I mean, we don't know. There is one guy I'm trying to get in, a new inside forward called Remi Osaki. And yes, he is a Danish homegrown, so yeah. He is not Nigerian, but he's also a homegrown to Denmark, so it's all good. Erlen Slegger, Mike Levers, I mean, he's sitting in the second team anyway, so yeah, who cares? Who cares? Anyway, let's take a look at our tactic, or well, 3 of them actually, because yes, we are still using 3. Let's just put someone in here. Let's put that's Nørgaard. Nørgaard was in here in the last match in the friendlies, but he's gone. He just left us, right? So let's put in someone else. Broberg, he is suspended, so it's not gonna be him. Larsen, why not? Let's put Larsen in there. Here it is, right? This is the 433 Positive Fox 1.0. I mean, it's already been... I've already changed a couple of things during the friendlies, but this is currently where it is, right? We have a sweeper keeper yet, we have 2 wingbacks, 1 on attack, 1 on support, a ball-playing defender on defend, and a central defender on defend, halfback, Masila and Caleri like last season. We got a winger up here on attack, we got an inside forward on the other side as an attack, and we got a target forward. So, yeah. The only real instruction that I have put on any of these is kind of the shoot less often on the wingbacks and the Masila, also the halfback, and the only one other than that is the deep line playmaker, who is gonna say, I'm gonna say, dribble less, shoot less often, and stay wider. Why shoot less often? Because he will sometimes move up and take shots otherwise. And I don't really want, I mean, I don't mind him going up there, but I don't want him to take shots. I'd rather have him play out to the wingers or something like that instead. And also stay wide. Actually, both of them are on stay wider, because the halfback will go down into that space anyway. So I want them to stay wide when we do have the ball. Right. So the overall tactic is right here, well, at least when we have the ball, is still narrow. Focus through the mid. Why? Why do I go through the mid? Well, because it will make space out wide when we do that. So we want to play into the mid and then go out wide, or run, or let someone run out wide and hit it over the top, or, you know, let them run out wide with the ball. That is kind of, you know, the overall tactic here. We want to work the ball into the box with positive mentality. Play for set pieces. We're still half decent on set pieces. We could actually take this one out, to be honest, but I'm gonna let it stay in there until I've seen more of the new players, how good they are in the air, because I haven't really seen the new striker in the air yet. Run and defense, very important to have that in with the way we have set up right now with the wingers, wingbacks, and also the inside forward, actually. So yeah, we are slightly shorter in passing and slightly higher tempo when it comes to when we are in possession. In transition, same story, except from one thing. We are distributing to the center backs instead. I want to build up instead of going over the top, because we do not have a lot of bodies around our target forward up there. So rather than going directly for him, we're going to play up from the back, and I think so far what I've seen, we are definitely capable of doing that, especially with the new midfielders in there. Those new midfielders we have now, they are more than capable of building up from the back together with the halfback and central defenders. So that should be good. Out of possession, we are gonna go a little bit different. We're gonna go for a mid block, still much higher defensive line here with a positive mentality, but we're gonna trap them on the inside because we have so many good players in here that can definitely win the ball for us very often. But there is more to it than just this. But yes, we are trapping on the inside instead of letting them go outside. So that's gonna be interesting. Still a trigger press more often here with a positive, and of course I have different versions of this. We have one, just to go over them really quickly, we have one where we are more cautious, and just to show you what is in here, we are more disciplined, we pass into space instead. We're also fairly narrow instead of completely narrow. And this in here is the same, and the position is, I believe it's the same except from the trigger press. We're going back on the trigger press when we're going cautious. Just let them come a bit more into us, and then, you know, do standard pressing when they do get in there. Again, a more cautious version of it, right? The last one is the defensive one, where we're also going wide when we are attacking. So instead of going... actually, we are not wide, we're fairly narrow, but... yeah. yeah, but whatever. I think you know what I mean. We are definitely more wide compared to normal, but I don't want to go fairly wide. I actually want to have it fairly narrow still. But we do hit early crosses, still pass into space, higher tempo, more direct. It's basically defensive with very, very counter-attacking football instead. But we do not make a pressure on this one. We just sit back, wait for them to come into us, and then counter them if we when we hopefully win the ball back. As you can see, we do not counter-press in this one. So, well, of course you will counter-press, but we are not directly telling them to do it. Otherwise, the same in here, and out of possession. That is where it's differing, right? I'm going for a higher defensive line, not much higher defensive line, and a low block. So we're really sitting back, waiting for opportunities where we can run in behind them when we win the ball. Trigger press, a standard, trap inside still, and get stuck in. We want to get stuck in when we are playing this mentality right here. I mean, you don't have to, but I want to do that in this situation to make them tackle a little bit harder than they normally would when people are getting this close to our box area. So anyway, that is the 3 tactics, but there is a big thing to talk about when it comes to this change, and that is the opposition instructions, right? This has changed quite significant compared to the other setup we had last season. Let's go in here to the position. So the main part is that we do not really trigger a press on their back line as much as we did in the previous versions. We do trigger a press on the goalkeeper if he's standing there with the ball and doing stupid things. Well, we will trigger a press on him. It usually is a good thing to do, especially if we're playing the positive mentality, staying pretty high up the pitch. But that it is a problem to do this if we play one of the other ones, right? We don't want to do that, and that's why I'm missing the presets. I would like to set up presets for each tactic. I can't do that. I only have one preset, right? Anyway, we do not trigger a press if they play with 3 in the back. That's why it's red right here. Do not trigger a press if they have 3 in the back. I don't want to do that. I also do not want to trigger a press on their wide defensive players, the defender left, or fullback left, or wingback left. Or the right one, of course. I don't want to do that, and there is a main reason for that. There is a reason for that, right? We do want to trigger a press on their central defenders, on the other hand. Why? Well, I do need to trigger a press sometimes up front, and I think those are gonna be okay to trigger press on, because often, if we trigger a press on those, they will play the ball out to the fullbacks or into the midfield fairly quickly, or make a mistake, right? And that's actually what I want to do. The wingbacks, we're actually going to tight mark them. If they play with a 5 in the back formation, we will go up and tight mark these wingbacks, because we don't want them to play out on the wings. We want them to push them inside. We want to push them in there. And that also comes together with the trigger press on the defensive midfielders, because sometimes if they do play 5 in the back, they also play with 2 defensive midfielders. Now, these midfielders, if they are 2 in the back, if there's only 1 defensive midfielder, I don't want to do anything with him. But if there is 2, I want to go up and trigger a press on them, because they will play higher up the pitch if there are 2 of them. That's how the match engine works now. So we want to pressure a trick higher. We will trigger a press on defensive midfielders if there are 2. That's what I'm trying to say. Midfielders right and left, tight marking. Midfielders inside, trigger a press, and also tackle harder on them. Same goes for people in the attacking midfield. Out wide, we will tight mark them. And on the inside, the AMCs, we will go for a trigger press and tackle harder. The strikers is a little bit different. We will tight mark them, but we will not go for a tackle harder, because that is leading to too many penalties. It just is. We will show them on the weaker foot, or the most, front forward kind of players. So that is kind of the new setup here with the position instructions, and I'm quite happy with what I'm shown so far. It was a bit of an experiment when I tried it out first, because it didn't really work too well in FM22, to be honest. It works, but it seems to be working a little bit better in FM23, at least with this tactic, that is. So there we go. And one of the last things I want to mention in this episode is just the set pieces. As you can see, it's all set up. And we can see here we do have a couple of guys that are actually quite adept to do long throws, and I want to try and do it, because why not? Why wouldn't I? So we do have some long throwing here going on. Will it work? We'll see. I do not know yet. I do not know if this is going to work. I have the striker there. I have the defensive midfielder there, because they are the 2 big boys we have in there. No matter who is going to play, they're probably going to be big boys. So that is kind of how we're setting up. So far it hasn't looked good, but we will see in the next couple of matches if it's working. If not, we can just go back to the standard kind of thing. The other things are still the same. The free kicks are still the same. The corners are still the same. We are still going for the tallest lad and the defensive midfield. Actually, I was actually wondering if I should change this again, because they don't really get... I mean, there is too many players on this area over here if I'm doing it like this. I think I'm actually gonna move some bodies over to the lurk at the near post, and also lurk at the front post. Maybe the DCL, maybe the MCL. Actually, just the MCL, I think. It doesn't matter who it is, just as long as there is someone here. Now, I'm also wondering if I need one more in here, because I kind of want to take away the... what is it called? Yeah, I specifically want my striker to be up against their wingback, and if there are too many people over here, they will get pulled in towards the action if they are not marking someone else further away. I want this to be a one-on-one. I don't want it to be a 1 versus 2 or 1 versus 3 or something. So I'm actually thinking this defensive midfielder might have to go in and mark the goalkeeper instead. That might be good instead of being at the near post. So only the striker over here is actually at the back post. Let's try that and do the same over here. Do the defensive midfielder out here, the DCR, and we had someone like the MCR attacking the near post. So that is actually a change that I thought about it when I saw the last match, and I was thinking, oh, that's not gonna work, because there are too many in the back room then. I need only one of my players over here. So, and pull all of their players towards the front post instead. Like, it's kind of doing it, and that's how we got a lot of success last season. I should probably just go with the same as I did last season, but I wanted to try something just a little bit slightly different here, marking the goalkeeper as well. Let's just try and see what it actually does. This is not far from what we did last season anyway, so there we go. And that is pretty much the entire preseason summed up in, I don't know how many minutes that was, probably too long, right? So next episode, we are gonna play, well, again, the first round in the FA Cup or whatever you wanted. This is called Sydbank Pokalen in Denmark. It's the same as the FA Cup in England. So yeah, we're gonna play that one, which seems to be a pretty easy team. Boldklubben 909. Don't know them, never heard of them, so it should be something we are capable of winning. And then we are starting out the league against AB. We actually did beat them in the preseason, as you can see up here. Pretty decent preseason. We had one game we lost, but we didn't actually play that bad. We were actually quite alright in this game. And Fram is one of those teams that are in our league and predicted number 6, I believe it was, or something like that. 7 maybe? 7, yeah. So yeah, that should be okay. I think same with B93 here at 2-2. They are also in our league. I think they are predicted 4. So it looks like we are capable of at least playing against the second division teams. That is. So I am not too worried, but I will say if we were to make a prediction and also what our goals are. Now we know what the board's goals are, but my goals are also the same as the board's. Top 10, which would be avoiding relegation. So top 10, that's it. That's my goal. What I will predict is that we are probably going to end up around number 6 or 7 or something like that. 5, 6, 7, around that mid-table, I would think. But that's my prediction and my goal. So yeah, guys, I think that's about it for me today. And tomorrow, or well, whenever the next episode is coming out, we are gonna get into the next season. At least playing some games in the next season. Hope you enjoyed this preseason transfer special. Well, there will be one every single season. There will be one of these. So yeah, see you around next time.